Yeah, definitely the biggest fish of the day. All right, y'all, welcome back. So we got the boat and the truck loaded down. We're headed down to the Tennessee River this morning to do some catfishing. And if everything goes right, we're going to stay and fish for a couple of days. But it is early June. I'm sure a lot of the catfish are spawning right now, but we had some time, so we're going to go see what happens anyway. But top priority today is to get below a dam somewhere and hopefully catch some fresh bait and some catfish as well. So we're going to hit the road. We'll see you guys when we get there. All right, y'all, we made it down here. We're gonna run up to the dam and try to catch us some skipjack before it gets too hot. Looks like we pretty much got the place to ourselves. It's about 92 degrees out here. Or it's supposed to get to 92 degrees today, so definitely gonna be a warm one. But to catch these skipjack, we're just gonna be using medium action bass tackle basically. Got 15-pound braid tied to fluorocarbon. We got about 12 foot of fluorocarbon leader with just a couple of crappie jigs on there. I got an 1/8 on the bottom and a 1/16 on the top with some minnow style baits. We didn't bring any bait with us, so if we don't catch any, we'll figure something out, but it's gonna make it a lot tougher if we can't catch any skipjack. All right, it's not a skipjack, but it's our first fish of the day. It might be a piece of bait. I don't know. It feels about like a catfish, maybe a drum. It's old blue cat. First catfish of the day, I guess. There's a big pile of fish down there. I seen them on side scan and made a couple casts, and I bet it's a big school of blue cats, about that size. Yeah, so far it's been tough for skipjack, which I heard they've been tough to catch down here, but hopefully we can catch 4 or 5 before it gets dark anyway. Little one, but that's what we're after. All head, ain't no bait there, other than head. We've been fishing for skipjack for the past few hours, and they're extremely tough to catch right now. We got a few in the cooler enough to fish with today, but if we're gonna fish tomorrow, we're gonna have to catch some more before we leave. So hopefully they're gonna turn on before we leave here tonight. But for now, we're gonna use what we got. We're gonna take our bumping rods, go get in the current, make a couple drifts, and see what kind of mood the catfish are in, because we're wasting our time right now fishing for the skipjack, I think. So we're gonna try this for a minute and see how that goes. Oh, there he was. He still got it. Oh, he popped it. That was a little one. He got the bait. And there's probably a bunch of little fish. There always is up here. There's always a ton of 5-pounders. You gotta deal with them, but there's some big ones mixed in here with them too. I hooked that one.
You got one?
Yeah, it's a little one, but it's the first one of the day. I got my bait back. I need that. We ain't got much of that. Yep, just an eater. There's a ton of them down there for sure. But there's big fish in here too. You just got to get through all them to find them. There's a bunch of them down there right now. I got that one. They're all the same size though. Should have been down here about 2 weeks ago. Well, probably about a month ago, really. They don't all spawn at the same time, so you just got to go fishing when you get a chance. I came into town on Sunday and I was looking for more. All right, so we made a couple drifts for catfish, caught a bunch of small ones, and now we're back to skipjack fishing, and it's not looking good. We've been at it for about an hour now, and haven't even had a bite. I think it's actually got worse. At least earlier we were catching a few and getting a few bites, but right now nothing. So we're gonna give it another 30 minutes or so, and if that doesn't work out, we'll have to find some bait tomorrow somewhere, but we'll figure something out no matter what.
That way we...
All right, we were on our last drift here and we got one hooked up. It's a big one too. I don't know if we'll get it in or not, but man, do we need it bad. We just missed another one on this rod over here too, so man, if we could catch a few, that'd really help things out for tomorrow. We got him, son. That's a big one. That's a few good pieces of bait right there. I mean, you can see him next to my hand. That's a good one. Now, he wasn't down there alone, so we got to catch a few more like that before we leave. It's way out there.
Oh.
Oh, no. Man, he was so far out, I just knew it was going to get off. That's a miracle we got it in on that little flimsy rod. Man, if we could just get a couple more, we'd be good, because those are big skipjack. Look, that bait's gone.
Was that 4?
Just going to throw it out there without a bait on that top. All right, so we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We got 3 big skipjack and 1 medium-sized one, so that'll be enough bait to get us started. Hopefully we can find some shad or something down on the lake tomorrow. The plan is to go down there and do some drifting and dragging tomorrow for some big blue cats. Right now, we're going to go find something to eat, go find our hotel, because we're both, me and Lana are both really tired and hungry. So let's get this thing on the trailer. So we made it to our room. We're gonna take a shower, get some sleep. We'll see you guys in the morning. All right, y'all, so we got a pretty good night's sleep last night. Slept in a little bit longer this morning than I wanted to, but we needed that sleep, man. We were both wore out last night. I probably looked crazy. Probably still do, but yeah, we slept in a little bit, getting a little bit of a late start, but we're gonna get the boat in the water, go see if there's any fish out here to be caught. All right, we're gonna throw the net a little bit in some backwaters here, see if we can catch some shad. There's tons of small ones flipping. I don't know if there's gonna be any big ones in here with them or not. It's only about 4 foot deep. Oh, freaking butt. Oh, we got something. Catfish.
Shiner.
Shiner. It's a shad. We got it all. that old slimy thing. Well, there's a couple pieces of bait there. That's a shiner. Pretty good one. Definitely take that. We don't need a whole lot. We're not going to be out here all day. We'll probably fish about 4:30. So if we can get, 10 shad or something like that, we'll be good on bait. You gotta get rid of them buttons if you're gonna throw a cast net. I don't use them anyway, so we're just gonna get rid of them. I've had about all that I can stand, getting hung up in them buttons. About jerked me out of the boat that time. That was it right there. Shiners, shad, and a tree. I threw on that tree, that's where them fish were, so that worked out perfect. All right, y'all, so I think we're good on the bait situation. We got a cooler full of bait. We got those 4 skipjack from yesterday that took us all day to catch. And then we got some golden shiners and some shad. And I actually caught some pretty decent sized shad. So I think we got plenty of bait. We're gonna head out on the main lake, find us a good ledge, start dragging some baits. Hopefully they're biting today. We'll see you guys out there. All right, so we made it down here to our first spot. We're gonna be starting out in a river channel in some deep water. It's about 50 foot deep here. We might have to go fish some shallow water to find these big fish. I don't know yet, but I just like fishing deep water, so that's where I normally start. We're gonna be dragging 4 rods, 2 of them with planer boards and 2 without. And if we start catching a bunch of fish here, big fish, I'll throw a couple more rods out. But speaking of rods, we got some new rods that we're gonna be trying out today. These are Ripping Lips rods. I've always been a fan of Ripping Lips, the company in general. And we're gonna try out some of their medium heavy HD series rods today, if I can get the rod sleeves off here. There we go. Yeah, I've never had any of these really bright colored rods before. I've always just stuck to the basic colors, but I guess if I'm gonna be filming these videos and stuff, these bright rods, they do stand out a lot more for filming. So I've got 2 this color, then 2 orange ones and 2 green ones. So this is probably my favorite color right here out of the ones I've got, but I got to get them all rigged up here. They're set up for anchor fishing right now. We gotta get them set up for dragging. So now, if you guys have never been around dragging before, we got the trolling motor down. We're going to be drifting at about anywhere from 0.5 to 0.8 today. And basically our dragging sinker will be laying on the bottom, and we got a couple floats a few inches above our hook with a long leader, and those floats are going to float our bait up slightly off the bottom. That keeps you from getting hung as much. And the blue cats, they tend to feed up more than down, so that gets the bait up slightly off the bottom. I'm not going to throw any real big baits yet because I don't have a ton of skipjack, so I'm going to cut them kind of small. I'm going to put skipjack on the yellow rods. If you got different color rods, that is one good way to keep up with what bait you got on what. Of course, there's other ways to do it too. But all right, so this will be the first cast on our new Ripping Lip Super Cat HD rods. These are medium heavies, and they feel pretty good. They still got a pretty soft tip, so I think the smaller fish will still be fun on them. But they got enough backbone to throw some big weights. I think they're rated up to 10 ounces. Yeah, 10 ounces. Now, I've always used tangling with catfish rods. Those are great rods. I'll still be using those some, but we're going to be trying these Ripping Lips rods here for a while. Now, as far as the reels and the line I've got on these rods, these are just Cat Max reels from Bass Pro Shop. Fairly inexpensive reels compared to other brands. We got 30-pound monofilament line on them. All right, lock it down, set our drag. All right, we're technically fishing now. Hopefully they're biting today. Hopefully we'll catch some big fish, but it is June, early June, so probably the worst time of the year to be out here fishing for big fish, but like I said, we had some time. We figured we'd get down here for a couple days, and I guarantee you we'll have fun either way. It's been tough so far catching bait and all that, but we'll make it happen. So we've got all of our bait spread out back here, 2 with planer boards, 2 just straight behind the boat. The orange rods, they have shad on them, and then the yellow ones, they have skipjack. So we'll see which ones works best. We're gonna get this top up right now though. We're getting baked by the sun, so we're gonna put this bimini top up. It'll be in our way, but it's better than getting fried by the sun. Well, it looks like we only needed 1 skipjack today. Ow.
What? We'll catch some fish. At least 4.
I'm trying to check his baits, but my feet are on fire. Well, we got a fish on this one. I guess we've been pulling him around for the past 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
You're fighting hard.
It's one of them little ones. Man, that floor is hot. Can't walk on it. I got my shoes off because I got my socks and shoes wet when I was throwing the net, and I can't even walk on this floor. But we got the first fish of the day on here, and we didn't even know we had him. I was gonna reel it in and check the bait because this one's been getting hit for a while, and it's got a little tiny blue on it. Oh. I don't want to walk on that floor, it's hot. All right, so that is not the size that we came for, but that is the first one of the day. We'll go ahead and let him go here. Yeah, it's on there. Yeah, I started reeling this other one in to check the bait on it, and it's got a little fish on it too. So these other 2 with planer boards, they're liable to have fish on them. They've been getting bounced too, so maybe that's why we haven't been catching any big fish. We're dragging around 5-pounders on all our rods instead of skipjack, you know. Hard to hook in big 50-pound blues when you got them 5-pounders in the way of your hooks. Ow, that's the meanest fish. Not a very big fish, but man, he thinks he is. That thing's mean. I'm gonna get him back. It's no fired up male. All right, let's see if we got anything here.
Oh my
Look
goodness.
at that little bitty fish on there. All our rods, we was fishing with little baby blue cats, I guess. Look at that thing. That thing ate a whole shad somehow. Look at that. That's a fish right there.
Want me to get him?
Yeah, really, man. Feel like anything yet?
Well, I say it's definitely quite a bit bigger than the last.
It don't take much
3.
to be bigger than the last 3, does it? Maybe we had a 5-pounder on that one too, and about a 60 come up and ate him, you reckon?
Maybe.
I mean, it may not.
Another one.
This one?
Green one. I bit it
They
for a
got
minute.
bit. We might be coming through a honey hole here. I got a waypoint on this spot from about 3-4 years ago. So something happened here.
He ain't real big. I say he might be like 7 pounds or something.
But at least that one actually gave us a little bit of a takedown, you know. Oh no, it's not very big, is it?
About the same as the other.
Yeah. Still not our giant we're looking for, but a solid little fish. Go ahead and throw him back. First actual takedown of the morning anyway. Another small one.
Yeah, it feels like it. I think he's on there. Hard to tell.
I gotta get this floor wet again just so I can walk on it.
It's really just that small.
There's the bait I had on there was about the same size as that. Yeah, there's so many of those fish down there. It's gonna make it tough on us today. I'd like to try to get away from them, but I don't know if that's possible in this lake. You ever hear anybody complain about there being too many fish in the lake? Yeah, boy, that's a giant there, ain't it? Hold him real close. Oh, there went one. Alright, we actually had one bended over a little bit here. This was on a piece, this was on a big old shad. Biggest piece of bait I had out probably, so. Hopefully it's a 20 plus, you know. He bit it and ran straight at me. He's still coming at me, so. I hadn't really got to feel what he is yet. What in the world is that over there? There's like a bunch of, what is all that stuff out there? Looks like there's a, I don't know. I see him, he's not a big one. A little better, but still just, still not what we're after. Yep, just the old beat up blue cat, not very big. All right, that's a little bit better than those real small ones we were catching, but still not what we're after. But the day's still young. We might still get us a good one yet before we leave. We're just gonna keep grinding, keep covering water, keep fresh bait on, and hope one of them big ones decide to bite. All right, so we're gonna change things up. We've been fishing this spot for a few hours and we're just catching small fish. You know, it could be the time of day. We might end up back in this spot again later this afternoon, but for now, we're gonna make a pretty good run down the lake, change things up a little bit, see if that makes any difference. Oh, there's one. That's gotta be a better one right there. We drove through a little ditch here and we found this one. It dropped from about 30 down to 38, just a little creek channel we drug over. And man, I don't think he's a giant, but he laid into that thing. Well, that's the way I like him to hit right there. I really like the looks of this spot. I fished here once years ago, but I'd kind of forgot a lot about it. But it looks real good to me. There he is. A little better. Still got the bait in there. I'll just leave it in there even though he ain't gonna eat it now. All right, nice little fish, but still not the big one we're after, but it's nice to catch these while you're waiting on the big one anyway. Another baby?
Yeah,
oh
like
Lord.
Ones probably.
That's not what I wanted to hear. That's not too bad of a fish. It's still not what we're at. Look at that big gash in his side, man. Yeah, that's a solid little fish right there. Nothing wrong with that. We're still hoping we can get that, you know, big 50 plus. You know, that's what we're always hoping for. But we can't stay too much longer because it's getting pretty late. It's extremely hot and we still got to drive home. So I know I keep saying that we're about to leave, but within an hour or so, we're going to have to call it a day, I think.
Listen to this ridge right here. It's red.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Is that a fish? Yeah, that's a fish. Yeah, that's a fish out there. Oh.
Uh-oh.
That's a double. Let's see which one is bigger. It's a couple fish here though. We're coming right off the end of an island. We moved to a different spot since the last fish we caught. Fishing the island, it's about 65 foot deep on each side of it. And the island we're fishing is about 30 foot deep. So yeah, I was really hoping there'd be a big one laying here, and there might be, but looks like we're catching small ones right now. Still down there in pretty good ways. These might be our last fish of the day here. It's getting pretty late. We really need to be going. It's hard to quit. You know, I want that big one so bad. But at some point, it's just, you know, you just got to give it up. It's not really worth it. I don't want to be miserable all the way home, you know. And this might be a decent fish right here. It's not going to be no 5-pounder. This one's staying down a little bit. This will be the biggest one of the day right here. Biggest one of the day. So I guess if we are going to quit, that's a good way to finish the day. Look at him. He's even going to pull a little bit. Oh. Yeah, definitely the biggest fish of the day. Landon's got one waiting on him back here as soon as I get this one in. Look at it go. I got to try these new rods out a little bit anyway. Look at that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of these rods. This is everything you'd expect a medium heavy action rod to be. Look at that, taking a little drag. What's going on here? I talked about how small it was all the way to the boat. Who knows, that might be a pretty good one too. I don't know, it's still, I don't know if they're crossed or not. No, that's a big fish is what it is. Look at that, son. We got our monster.
Oh, man.
We got our monster, son. What about that? And there's another one on there. It ain't crossed. He may not be a true monster to some people, but to me it is. And look at all them spawn marks. He took good. He's in the net. Right off the end of this island. All right, Landon, then we'll see what you got on this rod. He's had that thing bent over for a while. This liable to be another good fish. What's it feel like?
He ain't nothing like that other one.
Oh, there he is. Still, that's the second biggest of the day though, for sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that. That's about an 18-pounder there. Heck yeah. Well, let's get him in. I got to get that one in so we can net this one. We got him, son. God, that is freaking nuts. All right, let's get him in. Oh, I'm hung up on that reel. Now, I'll tell you what, this may not be a 50 or 60-pound fish right here, but as hard as we've worked for it, I'm proud of it, you know. It's a dang big fish, and you can see all the spawn marks on him. He's tore all to pieces. We're gonna get him out here. So staying out here a little later this afternoon definitely paid off. I wanted to leave at 4 o'clock, and we hadn't caught a good fish yet, and I was like, we're gonna stay a little bit longer. So now we got us a good one. Look at that head on him.
Big old head on him.
He's just thin, you know, he's been guarding eggs, so he hadn't been eating. You can tell he's real thin. But there we go. Oh man. Dang. About took my hand off right there. I ain't even kidding. I ain't too sure he didn't break a finger. He lit me up, son. It hurts. All right, y'all, there he is. I know better than put my hand back in that mouth, but we're gonna go ahead and get him back. We got this other one Landon caught here. That's a pretty good fish too. We're gonna get into him, but let's get this thing back in there and let him go eat. Put some weight back on. There he goes. All right, Landon. Yeah, that's a good looking fish there. That might be a female. All right, Landon got him a good one too. That fish is, he's not far from 20 pounds. He's probably about 16 to 18 pounds, something like that, but solid fish. You can go ahead and throw him back. All right, so as much as we'd like to stay and fish till dark, we're gonna have to bring these rods in and get on the road. We got a long ride ahead of us tonight, so pretty happy with how the day turned out though. You know, most of these fish down here are spawning right now, so I think we did pretty good today, especially with those last 2 fish we caught. But yeah, had a lot of fun, and I'm liking these new rods so far. So if you guys want to check them out, I'll put a link to the website in the description. They got all different styles of rods and colors. And they got some good prices too and some good deals on shipping. And they also have terminal tackle. Just check it out. I'll put a link in the description. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. God bless y'all. We'll see you next time.